Hi everyone, and welcome back to Decisive Squirrel Homestead. Today we're going to talk about vermicomposting. We haven't showed you all this yet. We got this bin off of Amazon. We'll link to it down below. And we actually keep it inside because it gets too hot around here. And we've also found that even when the weather's good, if we leave it outside, it gets completely overrun with flies. So we keep it inside, but in an out of the way place. It does kind of smell for a day or two when you first add food to it, but not all the time. And we haven't had any big issues with flies or anything in the house, so it's easier just to have it inside. So we are going to feed the worms today. I do this about every 2 weeks. I don't throw things in there daily, I just do it all at once. So we're going to start looking at the bottom layer in here. And this is not something that the instructions said to do, but I found it worked a lot better if I totally filled the bottom layers with newspaper. You can maybe see how wet this is. We don't really want things that wet. So I'm going to add more shredded paper in there to soak up any moisture that's coming down from the food. But I basically just keep this bottom layer full of just newspaper. This next layer is some vermicompost that we haven't used. It's just been sitting here aging for a while. You can see it looks pretty good. It's also a little bit wet, but if I add paper to this, it kind of starts things over. So I just kind of stir it up and make sure air can get in there. But I'm not doing anything major to it. But if I use any in the garden, this is the layer that I'm going to take it out of. This next layer up, you can see all these worms in here. This is really where everybody's going to work. You can also see some tomatoes that are trying to grow. Hey, kitty cat. This layer is a little bit more dry because the water has been seeping down to the lower layers. And we have lots and lots of happy worms in here. This is our cat that's not our cat that lives here anyway. He kind of adopted us, I think. And then the top layer is where we actually add food. So there's still tomatoes in here from the last time I added, and the worms are working on those. They can't eat through the skin, they don't have teeth. So if they're not busted open, they can't get to them, but as they rot, the worms can start to get in there. And so sometimes I kind of like poke a hole as they get softer just to make sure the worms can get into them. And then I add in any of our food that we didn't get to eat fast enough. So anything that's starting to rot is great for the worms. They like things that are starting to break down, that are real soft. Smaller pieces are better, so sometimes I will cut them into small pieces, but other times I just throw it in there, and as it breaks down, they will be able to get in there. So we throw all of the food in that's too far gone for us. And then the worms turn it into amazing dirt that helps us grow more food so it doesn't quite go to waste. And after the food is in there, I make sure that it's completely covered with more shredded paper. That keeps the smell down, keeps the flies down. And you also want about equal amounts of food and some sort of paper. We do shredded newspaper, but whatever you've got. Sometimes we homeschool, so sometimes we'll shred up old worksheets and things like that. And then every once in a while I do throw in ground up eggshells also, just to give them grit to work on. But that's it. Those guys will sit there for about 2 weeks, and then we'll come back and add more food. And every year when it's time to plant in the garden, we have nice vermicompost that we can throw in there with our new seedlings. See y'all later. Bye.